Welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel, guys. Do not forget to subscribe. 5 reasons why you should drive a beep shit box. Or, I don't know, I might call it 5 reasons why you're an idiot if you drive an expensive car. You're not, but you get the idea. You've got to ham up the titles a little bit. So, it's just taken me an hour and a half to go down to my leisure centre, which I can usually get to in about 5 minutes. And in fact, I've given up and come back. My kit's over there. I've given up and come back. Every road I tried to go down was just solid. I've got the sat-nav Waze thing and looked at alternative routes, tried going different ways. No matter which way I went, I hit traffic, hit either, just traffic jams and all this. Couldn't get there after, literally an hour. Given up. Ridiculous. And when you're sitting there in traffic behind drivers which are not all of that sharp and attentive, and that's putting it politely, you start getting wound up and your mind starts going. So I thought this would make a really good subject for a video. So here's 5 reasons why it is pointless to go and spend loads of money on a car. And it doesn't have to be a performance car. I just mean a nice luxury car, or any car that costs tens and tens of thousands of pounds. I was thinking of getting rid of my Golf, Mark 6 Golf outside, because I've just had it for ages and it's battered, and I just thought, let's get rid of it. I thought, what's the point? I was going to replace it with like an F-Series Touring, like a 320i M Sport or something, a 328 is there. I quite like the F-Series, and I had probably got something for like 15 grand or less that was in really nice condition, low mileage, etc. Reason number 1 why I'm not going to do that. One, I have to, with a family, having a family, you have to take the kid to school, you have to go shopping, you have to go to those commercial centres, like Primark and, where they park, Alfords and all that. Whenever you're parking in car parks, your car gets smashed to bits. That Golf gets a new ding at least every 1 to 2 months. I'll discover another door ding or scrape on it from another driver that will either just can't park and will just pull out and just scrape you, or will typically, isn't it, open the door and smack the door into your paintwork. If you've got a 40, 50,000 pound, Porsche Cayenne or Macan, sorry, whatever it's called, or just a lovely Merc or a lovely Beamer or any car that's cost you like 30, 40 grand, no matter what it is, you're precious about it, but you could look after it and do the best, but it's outside of your control. When it's out in that wide world, the jungle, other people will pull up next to you, and they will pull up next to you in a, Citroen C1 or a Peugeot, or a Vauxhall Zafira. They've got the right idea. They're not stupid. That's what you want to be driving. Their cars will be battered to bits, dents in them, scratches in it. They'll open the door, the wind will take the door, and bang, they'll do the side of your car, and you'll need the whole side repainted, and it could cost you like 5,000, even more if it's a really high-end car. So that's reason number 1, car parks. There's no space either on the car parks. People can't drive, and people can't open doors without damaging your car. I say people, 99% of people are very conscious of it, actually, aren't they? You see other people, they look, you give each other the nod, the look when someone parks next to you, you look and you're in a nice car. If I'm in this car and someone comes and parks next to me, I will jump in and drive. I won't care, because if they damage it, the amount of hassle and cost, I'd rather them think I was an idiot and I'll drive off. But 99% of people are actually careful, and they look and they get out carefully and they don't do it. But if it's 1% and you're parking your car 10 times a week in one car park, 14 times a week in one, 20 in another, whatever, then within a couple of months, someone isn't going to be careful, bang. The damage is done and it's very expensive. There's reason number 1. Tell me what you think about that reason. Have you ever had any dinks put in your car? Have you ever dinked someone else's car? Did you tell them? That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, potholes on the road. At the moment, it seems to be incredibly bad out there. You're driving along and you hit a pothole, and some of them are not potholes, they are like craters on the moon. And if you hit them at higher speed and it's dark, or you just can't see them because they're full of water or whatever, it's not always your fault. Bang, you hear that bang. And when you get that banging noise and you feel that sharp snapping bang, usually you've buckled an alloy. And if it's got enough force to buckle an alloy, crack an alloy, buckle it, then it usually damages your suspension, your top mounts, can damage your suspension arms, can damage your steering rack, can bend it up. To give you my experience of pothole damage, when I had the M140, it was, you know, such good condition. I was driving down the road, hit a pothole. It buckled the alloy, and I thought, oh, it's going to need a new alloy. Took it to BMW, and they went through and, you know, assessed it, and it needed just under £5,000 worth of repair work on it because of that pothole. Yeah, new steering rack, new suspension, just an absolute nightmare. And I don't know what we're paying road tax for, but they can't keep up with the pothole repair. And as you all know, if you've seen potholes repair, they chuck tarmac in them. And it's not repaired properly. You know, that same spot, it's usually a weakness where lorries turn, isn't it? Drag over the tarmac and rip up the surface, and it just gets worse. If they don't repair those bits of road properly, if they just do a little, chuck some tarmac in it, it tends to just come back. So yeah, the potholes are a big reason. Have you experienced damage to a nice car from potholes? Performance cars with low profile tyres and stiffer suspension are obviously a bit more effective. Next thing. Point number 3. I've told her I'm filming. She's going to come in and disturb me again. There she is. Look, now I'm filming. I'm filming. Yeah, I'm filming. I'm going for a walk. I'll finish this in 2 minutes. No. 2 minutes. No. 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes. I'll start filming you if you don't get out of it. No. Go on. No. 2 minutes. I promise. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. Sorry about that. 3. Road resurfacing. For some reason in the UK, the preferred method of resurfacing a road is to cover it in a thin layer of that tarmac, like, you know, that bitumen stuff, and then chuck loose tiny pebbles over it, and then leave it for you to drive over and push it all down and push off all the loose stones. The problem with that is it chips the hell out of all your paintwork, destroys your paintwork, gives you stone chips in your glass. It really does. I had this, I've experienced it. I had this repainted and the paintwork was mint on it. And again, I was driving down towards Chichester and I knew I couldn't go on the main Bognor Road because someone had told me they're doing that resurfacing thing. You know, so avoid that road. So I went round the back road and then I couldn't turn right to get into Chichester because it was resurfaced. So I come up to that resurfaced road, hit the brakes, the car behind me beeping and that, but, you know, I don't mind about that. Did a U-turn because I knew another way to go, went down the road even further, and then they were doing the same resurfacing the other way. So I actually couldn't get to Chichester because of all that resurfacing. If I'd have driven over it, I'd have got stone chips and all that sort of, even if I was going 20 miles an hour. So yeah, the way they build those roads is really bad. Also, another thing I noticed is every town seems to have loads of construction work, and on those construction work, outside of where they're building these new houses, is just tons of mud and gravel and loose stuff, and it's everywhere. And you drive around, and you get loads of stones flying up, and you know, all that sort of stuff. And indeed, a lot of commercial vehicles carrying stones and stuff, which is flowing all over the place. Okay, point number 4. Do you agree on point number 3? Point number 4. Cost of what have I written here? Cost. Oh, the thing, when you buy a really expensive car, it depreciates. You know, the moment you've paid for it, you lose half the value of it or a big chunk of the value, and then you've got like servicing costs of the new cars. Whereas if you get an old car, you don't have to, if it's done 100,000 miles, it's 10 years old, you're just going to drive it into the ground. You're not so worried about service history. Service it yourself, buy the parts for it yourself and save a fortune maintaining the car. Because you go to service a car and it can be like 400 quid and all they're doing is draining the oil off, putting another filter in it, you know, topping it back up with oil, and you pay a fortune for 5 minutes work. Point number 5, congestion and driving standards. This is really important. Just the congestion is everywhere. So if you have a lovely car, it's like you can't enjoy it if you're just stuck in traffic all the time. Not even if it's a performance car. You're just going to be sitting in traffic, and there's just so much congestion on the roads. And the driving standards are so bad as well. You know, out when you're out and about, you're likely to have you know, someone bump into you or bash into you or whatever, especially with all the traffic. And it is an absolute nightmare, guys. Do you agree? Maybe number 5 is probably the weakest point, but I better finish this video before she kills me. I've got to take the dog for a walk. You know, it can wait 10 seconds, can't it? It can wait 10 seconds. It makes my video look unprofessional. You know I'm very professional. So yeah, it's an absolute nightmare out there. If you get a beep box car that you don't care about the paintwork like that one, it's chipped up, the paint's falling off. It's very reliable though, that Mark 6 Golf. I've had it for over 10 years, have I? No, about 10 years, something like that. It's had 2 new shocks because one of the shocks on the rear busted and was leaking fluid. It's had a coolant line replaced, you know, that just popped off. So there was a coolant pipe failure. It's had brakes and brake discs, I think, possibly. No, I don't even know if it's had discs. Definitely had pads. That's about it. Very reliable car, the Golf Mark 6. So if you can find a car that's really highly reliable and easy to service and maintain and has low value, I think you're there. And yeah, that's why every time I think of getting rid of the Golf, I think, why? Why? I go to the old car park at school, someone opens the door, bang. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Couldn't care. Go on, do it again. Couldn't care. And I'm literally like that. And that's a nice feeling. If it was mint, I would just be really paranoid about it. So that's what stops me buying a new car. What about you? Take care. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got loads coming on the channel. Over and out before she kills me. Doug.